Night to you. It's so good to be here with you again on Advancing the Cause. This program is a really special program, and you are even more special. And so it's for that reason I make every effort to come out here to be with you every Wednesday. You know what? This week we've had so many things happening, quite a lot happening this week. But let me take time off to say happy birthday to all those who would have celebrated their birthdays last Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, up to Wednesday of this week. Happy, happy birthday to you. And for those persons who would have celebrated their wedding anniversaries, happy anniversary, whether it's a wedding anniversary or it's just another anniversary for something. Happy anniversary to you too. And I trust that you're basking in the happiness of of a new year. And of course, we have persons who are sorrowing at this time. And so we want to extend condolences to them at this time. I trust that God is going to give you that comfort even now as you grieve. Just remember that you have quite a lot of memories that you can hold on to ensure that you keep their memories alive. And so, on Advancing the Cause tonight, we're talking about, of course, the PPP. And we're saying, come see the PPP. Come see the PPP. So, for our highlights this evening, we're going to share very quickly with you, of course, the president's. No, 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 the president. He is on official visit to China. We might very well be speaking Chinese soon, or you might hear him say on his return that Chinese is now going to be in the language that is mandatory in every school. So we've got to be very mindful of that, because things happen. These things happen they will happen overnight. And then we learned that the Demerara Harbor Bridge, they're under repairs, and they're fixing the spans and so on. And so we recognize too that several options would have been put in place so that our commuters, our public servants, and everybody else, they can get to where they have to be and on time. Look, let me tell you what. I'm seeing you there, and I want to say to you, stop what you're doing, share the life, share the life. Tell your friends, tell your cousin, tell your neighbor, tell everybody. Advancing the Cause is on, and we're here to talk about come see the PPP. Yes. And so as we continue with our highlights, we saw, of course, you saw the issue with Joel Gancham there the other day. And you know what? He received an apology from American Airlines. And that was not enough. He also got 10,000 bonus miles. So I'm not saying that you quite a lot of persons are thinking that Joel probably behaved badly, or there was this exchange of words with him and one of the air stewards. But of course, Joel would stand his ground. So AA, they have apologized to Joel, and so we're rolling. Joel is believing that he can fly, so he's gonna be flying pretty soon. And then we have, as we continue, we have the Joel, not Joel. Why am I saying Joel? Because it's J. The Joshua Ballers saga. And if you've been checking, you recognize that this is a little young man who has been playing cricket on the 13 cricket. And again, we are seeing, come see the PPP, discrimination. People, a young man, a young child being disenfranchised. And they're saying that this child has been doing well in most of the matches that he played. And his average score is 55. In one match, he scored 52. In another match, he scored 34. And then in another match, he scored 79 not out. And we have the selectors there, Lachman, somebody from Demerara. We have Balram from Berbice, and some Dinesh Joseph, who we have from Essequibo. And, Come on, somebody do something. Somebody come and give us some answers, please. Because this is making the waves all over the place. This young man who has been performing so well, but yet when you got to this point, he has not been selected. I mean, we have to be very careful with what we do, especially to our young children. When they work hard, then they need to be rewarded. And I'm hoping that there were reasons given for his non-selection, but you need to tell people something, because if there's no information, then speculation would go. So tell us something about young Bullers and why he was not selected. You see the young man's face there, very, very positive young man who knows what he's about, and he's ready to give of his best. So tell us something. And yes, Michael Reed, we want to say good evening to you, and Anil, and Brenda, and David. Good evening to all of you. Good evening to all of you, and Mala, and Andrea, and Petula. Everybody, good night, good night, good night to you, Miss Grenville, and Michelle Garrett, and JG, and so on. Good evening to all of you, and thank you for being here with us on Advancing the Cause. Remember to tell your friends, Advancing the Cause is on. And then we saw the big one, where we had the court matter, which dealt with the two parliamentary secretaries. And we saw coming out of that one, the appeals court upheld the decision of the High Court, with Kissoon and what's the other one name? They've been out so long I can't even remember their names. But the appeal court, they upheld the decision, and they overturned the appointments of these two, Ram Kissoon and what's her name again? Can't remember her name. But the two parliamentary secretaries, and of course, when that happens, when the court rule again, anytime the court rule against the PPP, they don't take that very easy. And so by the time that judgment was passed, we got the most, as he considers himself, the most affluent attorney, Anil Nandalal, who came out to say, the court has ruled against us, the appeals court has ruled against us in so many instances, but you know what? We're going to take this very far, and it's going to be a win for the PPP. So you know where they're going with that? They're now heading to CCJ. So it's okay for the courts to rule against the coalition and coalition supporters, but it's not okay for the courts to rule against the PPP, maybe because they are big, bad, and they're bullies, and they're whatever they are. So anytime the court rule against them, they're going to CCJ. Well, that's the life of us here in Guyana, where we've gotten accustomed to the PPP and how they operate. But like I said tonight, we're looking at the PPP: evil, corrupt, racist, anti-working class, oppressive, and so much more. That's who the PPP, that's who they are. Every single one of them. You don't even leave anybody out. That's who they are. As long as you join that band, you have to put on that kind of coat in. You have to put on that robe to be a racist, to be corrupt, to be evil. That's the PPP. You check the way they behave. You look at the manner with which Priya operates. Look at the manner with which Dharam Lal, Anil, every single one of them, Ejil, Utad, every single one of them, what's his name, Joseph Hamilton, Kwame McCoy, Anand Prasad, the whole pack of them, you check the way they operate. And those who don't operate openly, they do it behind the scenes. And those who don't do any little thing, they what they do is they sit there and they say nothing. And so on this issue of the case that we just won there, I want to send out shout out to our Shadow Attorney General, Mr. Roysdale Ford, MP, SC. I want to send out big shout out to him. He has been working pretty hard, and we do appreciate the sacrifices he has been making to go tooth and nail to ensure that justice is done in this country, even when we don't get it. We know and we appreciate the efforts of Attorney Roysdale Ford, and we have Attorney Selwyn Peters, and the other attorneys who are part of that team. We want to say congratulations to all of you. But yes, back to come see the PPP. But I need to, while I'm talking about the PPP, and this is telling you how they operate. At number 51 Village on the quarantine, it is now becoming, the residents there are saying that 51 will soon be an island. And you know why they're saying that? They're saying that simply because the PPP and their cronies are digging up the soil and the sand all around there. They go out to the water side and they're digging up the sand there, and they're coming all around and they're digging up the sand there, which is cheap material they're getting. They don't want to buy sand for the cost, the price that it's costing. They are going there and they're digging up all around that village. They're digging up, and they're using this stuff they're digging up there to go and throw it at Palmyra, where they're supposed to set up this housing scheme and the stadium that they said they're going to be setting up there. Now, this is wrong. The residents are saying at least 40 trucks per day are fetching stuff out of that place, out of that village. And before you know it, that village will become an island. And you know what is going to happen? As soon as the tide gets high, it's going to flood the entire area. Come on. Orphan Ali, what was happening with y'all? We understand that you've been to that university somewhere over the river, but come on, don't treat our people like this. Don't treat our people like this. And you noticed, I mean, I have to say it. If you look at what is happening, the PPP are going into all of these black villages and they're doing all kinds of foolishness there. Into these black villages. We'll talk some more about another area, but I just thought that I should mention this. Come see the PPP. You know, old people have a saying which says rice in pot and rice in plate are two different rice. There's another saying which says come see me and come live with me. Two different situations. And we're seeing that every single day with the PPP. Every single day we are seeing that with them. You remember local government elections not too long ago? You remember how you used to see them all around the place? You're seeing them now? You're not seeing them now? So it was around during the local government elections when they were campaigning, all of them coming around. Sonia gone to West Coast, Berbice, where the people shout plenty time. Dharam Lal, well, I'm not sure if Dharam Lal went, but I think he went too. And you're seeing the vice president, you're seeing Charles Ramson, all of them you're seeing all around the place. Priya and everybody you're seeing around the place. But I want them to go to visit the people now. Go to 51 and tell the people there why you're digging up the sand there, why you're digging up the earth there. Tell them why you're doing that. It is absolutely wrong. I noticed Wendy Raphael is saying that she's not getting any sound. But Wendy, I think we've remedied that now. So I think you're getting sound. So if you are, just let us know that you're getting sound. And so yes, the PPP, I just don't want to really say it, but I just got to say it because, you understand. Wicked, stink, dirty, corrupt, racist, everything negative you could think about, put it on the PPP. Now, as we go on, you'll understand why I'm saying come see the PPP. When we look at the PPP's attitude, we just talked about number 51 village on the quarantine. Let's look now at the PPP's attitude towards iPad G. You remember the whole issue? The gateway was open, the approval was given for iPad G to receive their subvention. They're still waiting to collect that. They are still waiting. You know what they did? They trumped up all kinds of foolishness, like everything else, Barajak. You gotta always come up with all of these Nancy stories. And man, let me tell you, this man faces be so plain and so straight that if you're not smart, you believe him. If you're not smart, you're carried away. This man, when I tell you this man could fabricate stories, if we were to put a grade for a fabricator, he would supersede the grade that is allotted there for that fabrication. This man could fabricate story. And so the first thing Jagdio spoke about, well, not Jagdio, I think it was Charles Ramson, who said their books are not in order. Now, he did not even know the people's books the year before it was in order, and the people had started working on their book in terms of their accounting procedure and making sure that all the monies that were spent were accounted for. The people's document, it was with the Auditor General. He didn't even know that, and he opened his big mouth. Like everything else, sometimes we don't really go too hard on Charles Ramson, because we understand Charles Ramson, really, he's looking for a place. And you remember when Jagdio had banished him because he wanted to run for president? Yes, that is the same Charles Ramson we're talking about. The same young man who couldn't pronounce a word. Well, it's not he alone. There's plenty of them who can't pronounce words. So they talked about their books not in orders. When it was presented to them, they couldn't say anything. And then they went around the place and they started talking all kinds of things. Oh, this, oh, that, and the people not benefiting and all kinds of things when they give Ipadaji the monies. When Ipadaji show them all the works that they're doing, they back off. But they don't back off for long. They retreat and they come again with something else. Now, they have gone to another level now where they're saying, look, we have given monies individually to members of Ipadaji. Bam! Vincent came out, who's the chairman, and Vincent said, not true. You show us one member. Show us one member who you would have given monies to. Well, this story, it can't come out. But, these people, not easy. I mean, not one bit of truth you could get coming out of these people's mouth when they get ready sometimes. Not one bit of truth. None whatsoever. And so, come see the PPP. Wicked, corrupt, racist, everything. The PPP. Now, we're moving from 51 Village, we move from Ipadaji, and we're going again, come see the PPP. Now we're going to talk about the PPP's resentment towards APNU, or the coalition, members of parliament. There's little or no favor you could get from them. Yes, I need to tell you that. Everything is master with the big stick. And you have to go again, and you have to come again, and you have, and I'm saying these things are happening to us because we sometimes allow them to happen. But, in the parliament, they have the numbers. And so there isn't anything much that we can do in the parliament except to expose them when we're in the parliament. And of course, they have their sound boy there. The Speaker of the the Speaker of the National Assembly. You're guessing right. The Speaker of the National Assembly, who has, he has his timer there, and he has all the equipment there to shut off your mic and all kind of thing, and to tell you, well, this word is prohibited and that word is prohibited. I don't know. Maybe they should have asked him. He should have been there when they were writing the Bible or the Quran or something like that. Or maybe we should ask that he be part of the team that is going to be looking at the constitution reform. So we can put all these, he knows all, the speaker, he got a list of words, maybe 100 or more than 100 words that we can't use in parliament. So when you go to expose them, you have to be very careful, because he would cut you off and ask you to retract and all sorts of things. But let me say, not one opposition member, or if you're perceived to be opposition, has been appointed to any state boards or any of the commissions. If you think a lie, you check it. Not one opposition member, or even when the opposition leader cites his non-approval, Orphan Ali would go there and do what he wants to do. He would go out there and do it. He has no respect whatsoever. And people, let me tell you something. We cannot continue to have these kinds of people running this country anymore. We cannot continue to have evil people, corrupt people, racist, anti-working class, and oppressive people running this country. Because if you look around at what has been happening, we have a group. It's just a little group, and they benefit all the time. So the poor man will continue to remain poor, while the rich ones will continue to remain rich. Not one opposition member or anybody who has been recommended by the opposition is sitting on any of the state boards or on any of the commission. And the constitution of this country, sometimes I hear them talk about constitution and constitution. But when you look at the manner with which these people operate, they have no regards for the constitution, because the constitution says that the president must have consultation with the opposition leader, and they must agree, disagree, come up with name, no, this one, I don't want that, why, and give all the reasons and so on. And then we agree to where you, but that doesn't happen. We had one meeting, and the president is the president. I don't know why I keep saying presidents. Somebody putting that word every time up on the screen. But that's not what I meant to say. The president is not keen on having any kind of conversation with the opposition leader. None whatsoever. I mean, oh, jeez. Well, I ain't even sure if it's Orphan really making those kinds of decisions, because y'all know who running the show. The other day, I don't know if it's truth or it's not truth, but I'm gonna say it anyhow. The other day, I saw a nice little caption on Facebook there, which was talking about the whole issue with the Dharamlal, and Jagdeo reminded Orphan how we got there, and he can't tell him what to do because, of course, Dharamlal is a very prominent member and hard-working member of the party, and all kinds of stuff, all kinds of things. But then, as we go down, I want to show you, come see the PPP and to see who they are. While we talk about the non-appointment, the non-consultation with the leader, we have this big one, the appointment of the chancellor and the chief justice. You notice these are women, highly qualified, respectful women. And I remember vividly, during the coalition's term in office, Priya Manik Chand was up and about. She liked to be front and center and pot salt and everything. I noticed my friend Mark Devonish telling her about a couple of things. But you notice she likes to be front and center. And she was there talking about Madam Chief Justice acting and Madam Chancellor acting, and these women should be appointed. Yes, look her there, right there, you're seeing her. She was making that presentation about why they should be appointed and why they should be appointed. But you notice now, Priya is an attorney in the cabinet. Sonia is an attorney in the cabinet. Onage is an attorney in the cabinet, is an attorney. As a matter of fact, Onage sat as a magistrate. But what? Zip, 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 zip. Not a word from them. They can't say anything to support the appointment of these two women. Nothing they would say. Well, I guess they can't say anything. But it's sickening, yes. I didn't say it, Priya the Wild Hog. I didn't say it. I'm just reading what I saw there. But the thing is, we expect women like Priya and others to stand up for other women. But you know what? We've returned to the days of lawlessness. You remember the 23 years? We are going to get to that just now. Just now, we are going to get to that. But again, 51 village, the coalition and the manner with which they are being treated, the manner with which no member who has been proposed by the coalition to sit on government, on state boards and so on, not accepted. And then here it is now, we have two Afro-Guyanese women. You see, when you have to highlight these issues because they are there, blatant. It is there, blatant. The PPP is a bunch of crooks, somebody saying that, a bunch of crooks, scamps, fraudsters, riggers, and undemocratic cabal. And I agree with that person. I'm sure many of you are going to agree with that young man who was saying what, describing the PPP. But again, these are two Afro-Guyanese women whom the PPP feel that they can dangle the carrot on their heads or over their heads all the time, and telling themselves that maybe the chancellor and the chief justice, they're going to act in their favor every time because we have this over your head, and if you don't do what we want, we're not going to appoint you. Well, you know, the law is the law. Sometimes even on the coalition side, we don't agree with the rulings sometimes, but the law is the law. And if it doesn't go against you, then you should abide by the law. You always claim to be law-abiding citizens, so you must abide by the law. But they're not going to do it. Again, let me remind you, in the public service, we have the same thing happening. Now that I'm hoping that now that we've had the commissioned, that we're going to be seeing pretty soon the appointments of quite a lot of those persons who were acting. We're going to see vacancy notices being published, and we're going to see persons applying and time set for interviews. And I'm hoping that when you have those interviews conducted, that persons are going to be judged fairly, because we know the story too well. We know the story too well. And I can tell you what is happening in some of our ministries. In the Ministry of Education, I can tell you quite a lot of our teachers have been seconded to the ministry, to very high levels too, performing duties. Quite a lot of them. And you know what has happened there? They've bypassed the officers or the public servants who are sitting in those departments. They've bypassed them and they've brought people who they want. And I have no apologies for saying that. And you know what is going to happen? They are going to be appointed pretty soon. So you're having persons who are there working all the time, but you're seeing persons coming from outside of, and they are going to be appointed in positions, senior positions. And I agree with you, viewer. Priya has been the worst. She is the worst education minister. She is the worst education minister. You check the education ministers that we would have had in this country, starting with Lyndon Forbes, Samson Burnham. Well, that's too big of a shoes for her to fit in. So she can't go anywhere close to that. But Priya is the worst education minister that we have seen. Imagine Priya doesn't know the difference between a preposition and a pronoun. Could you imagine that, the education minister? So you could understand where we are heading. So we have the issue with the treatment that is being meted out to the chancellor, the chief justice, number 51 village, and we saw what is happening to the opposition. Well, you know what? The teachers, the nurses, and other public service servants, the treatment is no different. It's no different. And we've seen what is happening with them. Nurses are leaving because they're not being paid well. They're not being respected. People don't appreciate, the government don't appreciate the nurses. Because if they did, they wouldn't close the nursing school in Linden. So we right now, we're having a shortage of nurses. And you know what they've planned to do? They've planned to import nurses from Cuba. Tell me, that making sense? Does that make sense? We have nursing schools. You're closing them down. because you don't want to train more nurses. And it's because here again, region number 10, particularly in Linden, where we had the nursing school. And so the talk there was too many Afro-Guyanese nurses are coming into the profession. We have too many of them in the profession. So they closed the nursing school in Linden. But while they're closing this school, while they would have closed this school in Linden, oh gosh, man, they don't tell me to tell them. So yes, it's catfish. I hope it's that catfish you got to talk about in China. I hope so. The PPP don't make sense at all. And let me say this, for Guyana to grow, the PPP got to go. They got to go. And so viewers, let me pause from what I want to say to you. You got to go out there and ensure that you are registered. You got to go out there and ensure that you are registered and that you are upbeat with what is happening, because you know what? Their backs are against the wall at this time. They're under a lot of pressure. So don't be surprised if tomorrow morning you wake up and you hear elections in 3 months. So we have to be prepared. And if they think they can catch the coalition lapse in the lie, if you think you can catch the coalition lapse in your lie, don't worry. We're watching the game. So the nurses are leaving. We're importing nurses. Teachers are leaving. So I guess we're going to import teachers too. Maybe we're going to import teachers to speak Spanish. And I would want to suggest that you have teachers who can speak the languages for the neighbors that we have close by. We got Spanish, we got Dutch, we have French, we have Portuguese. Ensure that we have not only Spanish being compulsory in our schools, but it should be Spanish, French, Portuguese, and Dutch. When we go to talk to our counterparts in Suriname, we should start teaching our children now a little bit of Dutch. So when the bridge is completed and they're going to be driving across there, they can have exchanges in Dutch. If they're going over to Brazil, they can speak the language. Even if they're not fluent, at least they understand the major aspects of it. Good morning, good evening, thank you, how are you, may I have this? You know, the basic things. Teach them a little bit of Dutch. Teach them some French, because we got Cayenne, we got French Guyana right over there. The 3 Guyanas and Brazil and Venezuela. So come on. If you want to make sense, you must have a vision. And we've recognized that the PPP ain't got no vision. What they got is catfish whiskers. They ain't got no vision, none whatsoever. And so these are the things that the opposition members would come to throw at you. But you know what? They don't like that. They don't like that. But the PPP, they glow in corruption. They glow in scampish business. They glow everything that is illegal. The PPP are right there and they're happy about it and they're smiling. So I'm hoping that somebody listening and they can tell Priya, ensure that we are going to have 4 languages being taught in school. And if it's not, you don't make it mandatory, but at least as you move up in the primary school, at least 2 language. At least 2 language. 2 languages you must know when you're going up in school. And when that was not enough, in terms of importing nurses, and then we are going to import teachers, we now gone to importing truck drivers. You ever hear anything like that? In this country, we importing truck drivers. Well, you know, if it's not strange to me or foreign to me, because we had Junior Sammy coming here, and Junior Sammy came with all his trucks. Junior Sammy came here with all of his drivers. He came here with the big trucks, the canters. He came with wagon cars. Almost everything Junior Sammy came to this country with. So you know what happened there? They had no space for any Guyanese driver, or maybe few Guyanese drivers are employed with him. So he brought all of his trucks. So Guyanese people here who got big trucks, Your trucks can't get no work with Sammy, Junior Sammy, when Junior Sammy get work here, because he brought all of his trucks. Good night to you, Honorable Nima Flo Best. It's good to have you here. As a teacher, I know you are listening and you're counting, because the same things are going to pass down at your school there at St. Joseph's, where they might want to throw on you there some Cuban teachers. But you know what? I'm hoping that we are going to keep our eyes out and our ears open. So when we see these things happening, we are going to stop them. You know, when you look at the manner with which the foreign nurses and the foreign teachers are coming in, we have to check to see what their what salary scale they're going to put these people on, because it's going to cost this government even more to bring these Spanish teachers in, to bring these nurses in, because they have to provide accommodation for them. They have to provide meals for them up to a certain point. And when it's a contract they're going to be giving them, they have to. I don't know that those people are going to be coming here for cheap labor, but I am hoping that we are seeing what is happening, because this administration doesn't care about us. They don't care about our children. And so we're importing truck drivers now. I would always say it, we got a minister of labor who doesn't understand what labor is. So he can't labor for labor. Now, I would expect the minister of labor to put forward a proposal there to say, look, truck drivers, no. Let's go out into every region and send out a notice there to say we need truck drivers. And you put the trucks in the various categories. You know how many drivers we got around the place? You know how many truck drivers we got around the place who can't get jobs? And you bringing important truck drivers, man, this is more than, I pass. Very often I get very itchy when I'm on the program. And my folks would tell me sometimes, we want you to keep it very professional. But, sometimes you just can't keep it professional when you have to talk about some of these issues. We have many, many, many of our fathers who are truck drivers, who can operate trucks. They can operate canters. They can operate other machinery. And they can't get jobs. They're at home and they got to find a little thing here to do, and a little thing there to do, and a little thing the other place to do. And now you're telling me that there's a shortage of truck drivers. When was the survey done? When did you do it? Where did you do this survey? What were your findings after you would have done this survey? Publish it and let us see. You publish it and let us see that you've been out there and you've asked persons, and persons don't want to come. And I would tell you, if truck drivers don't want to come, it's because you want to pay them next to nothing. Like the old people would say, you want to give them a little freck. And they want no freck for them long, long hours that you got them working. Guyanese people, we have to understand that the PPP will do anything to sell this country out. You remember what Jagdio had promised Venezuela? You remember that? Have you checked to see how many foreign companies are coming into this country and vast lands that are being given to them? And we are right here and we can't get a piece of land. I was talking to a young man 2 days ago, and he was telling me he had to pay the land cost 1.5. Of course, he had to pass as something which is half of the 1.5 to somebody who working at housing so that his application could pop up. He paid the money for the land. A whole year passed already, he can't get the land up to now. They're still telling him that they have to clear and they have to do this and they have to do. Barajagdo must go to hell. Yes, I agree with you, caller. He must go to hell. Barajagdo and that whole cartel crew must go to hell. The U.S. shouldn't only want some persons. They should call names like Barajagdo and all of them. All those corrupt ones, they should call their names. But we can talk about those at another time. But this thing about the truck drivers, this one really not sitting nice with me. We must go out, I think sometime later this week or next week, I'm going to go out in front of the office of the president with at least 10 truck drivers. You telling me that we don't have drivers, truck guys to drive truck? We got women who drive in trucks in this country. So you're telling me about truck shortage of truck drivers? Maybe right, you're right. He gone to China to look for some Chinese drivers to bring here. And to have them come here and create confusion. People come see the PPP. They're wicked. They're evil. They are corrupt. That's who the PPP are. Now, road contracts. Road contracts. Well, this one here, we got put pepper and salt to eat this mango. Pepper and salt we got put to eat this mango. The road contracts. His worship, not yet in. Alfred Mentor, good night to you, and it's good to have you here. Gary Peters, it's also good to have you on this program. Carl Davis, sorry. It's good to have you too on the program. Call your friends, tell them come out, tell them come. Advancing the cause is on. But we're going back to these road projects and these contracts. One, they collected those projects. And let me say to you, those road projects that you are seeing now, they are all projects that were handed to the PPP installed regime by the coalition. So don't let them tell you the projects are their projects. But you know what happened to them? You know when you copy from your friend, you don't understand where you copy? This is what happened to them. They collected the projects. They didn't wait for anybody because, of course, you know, by the time they got into office, they start dismissing left, right, and center senior officers, this one, that one, everybody. So they don't understand some of the projects. No, that's why we're having the confusion that we're having in many, many parts of this country. You turn up here and you recognize you can't turn through this street anymore because the road block off. They don't give you any advance notice. And so with the road projects, of course, we want development, and that's why we had all those maps there, all those projects laid out. I mean, I'm not going to delve too much into that because when I'm going to delve into it, I'll bring David Patterson, the former minister, or maybe Annette Ferguson. So let's talk about these road projects. You see, we got the roundabout in by South there where they take a jumbie board and put it on the roundabout. They better move it quick. You see, these people, they don't know about anything. Priya said she is a preposition. Now they take a jumbie board and put it up there and call it an eagle. You ever see anything like that? Crazy. They don't understand what they're about. And so these road projects, we got road projects. They're being awarded to some people who could barely use a crayon to make a scrawl. Road projects are given to them. We saw just the other day in Region 6 how many road projects were given out. Hundreds of millions of dollars. Some son, a grandson, a father, a grandfather, just the same circle, the loop, right? A little circle. They're getting those road contracts. Some of them never hammer a nail yet. And they get big road projects, right? Square pegs in round holes. Square pegs starting from the top or finale. Well, you know, I think somebody's working with him because he's able to speak a little better. You remember the kind of embarrassment we used to have when he couldn't pronounce words and so on? Is a thing in the PPP where they can't pronounce words. You remember when the reporter asked Jagdio about he couldn't remember? So they have a problem there. But back to the road projects and these contracts. Contracts are being awarded. These people know nothing. So they're subcontracting the work. And they're not doing any proper survey. They don't have, I think sometimes I'm thinking that they don't have qualified engineers who are with them. So when you look down the road and see what is happening, a whole lot of confusion. So they can't complete projects on time. And even while they're not completing these projects on time, you're not hearing from the ministers within the Ministry of Public Works or the Minister of Public Works and the minister within the ministry. You're not hearing from them what penalty is being handed down to these people. All you're hearing is a whole lot of excuses. Plenty excuses. So we have the Cemetery Road project, that road project there in the cemetery, which was supposed to have been far by now. It's unstalled. It's stalled. Not this one. It's stalled right now. The Cemetery Road project. And you know what? Well, I couldn't believe it when I heard the thing too. The bishop, Warner Jill. That man stood in Parliament. Nanku, we're glad to have you here. You better go pick up some of the garbage that we got down by Bordeaux. Because you and Jack, all of y'all full of garbage. I know. I'm happy when y'all come on here because you hear the truth. And the truth will upset you every time you hear it. So stay right on there. You're going to hear some more. So, one Edgel stood in Parliament to tell us, oh my God, I couldn't believe a bishop is saying that supernatural forces are affecting the completion of the work through the cemetery. Now, I would think that as a bishop who is supposed to be robed with decency, well, we're expecting that, right? That he's robed with decency and spirituality and divinity, and he got divine powers, that this man, from the time he got that complaint, he there waiting for nothing else. He'd gone down by Cemetery Road there, starting from the entrance there, because Princess Street, from Princess Street entrance there, he and maybe some of the prayer warriors from his church and some other ministers who we know, they're starting a prayer session from the head there, straight down to northeast entrance there. He would have been praying and casting those demons out and telling them, go back where you come from. But the man stand up in Parliament to say supernatural powers. Bishop, what happened to your praying ability? You lose it? Y'all remember this was the same man who said, if Jesus were on earth, he would have joined the PPP. Well, Bishop, I'm glad Jesus showing you that he ain't joining the PPP for nothing. Nothing he ain't joining the PPP for. So the angels and everybody left you on your own right now. So you're confused. The supernatural. I want you go out there. I notice you're walking all over the place. Go down to Cemetery Road. Come down to, maybe you frighten them spirits yourself, because they would start telling you a couple of things. They might start telling you a couple of things. They might tell you, tell the people your right name. They might tell you, tell the people your right name. This is not your name. Box, this is not your name. Tell them your right name. Get from here. Maybe that's why you're not going. But you better go fix it. Go and fix it, Warner Jill, because that road got to be completed. Our people are tired of the confusion in the mornings. On a serious note, they're tired of the confusion in the mornings, where you have long lines in the mornings, long lines in the afternoons. And they seem to not be able to do anything. And it's not really the supernatural powers alone. Bishop Juan Edgel, boy, come over to Congress Place. We can give you 2 eggs. We can give you 2 eggs. 2 eggs we can give you. We can give you a quarter bottle of high wine and some olive oil. We can bless you first, and then we can send you out there to get rid of those supernatural powers. No supernatural powers is supposed to frighten you, Edgel. So why you come into Parliament to insult the intelligence of the Guyanese people, to tell them nonsense about supernatural powers? Huh? What nonsense you're coming to tell people? Tell the people that you probably got your share of the money and somebody else got their share, and what the contractor had there, it's finished. So you can't pay the workers and the workers walking off the job. Tell people that. Don't come and tell people nonsense. Stop that. Stop it. Amen? One Edgel. Oh my gosh. One Edgel. And if you are able, I got a good friend. His name is Onisi LaFleur. Get him to pray with you. Get him to pray with you so that y'all could get rid of them supernatural powers. Don't, and it's like you want, it's like this man wants to scare people now, Because when he talking about supernatural powers, he want now people in one drive. He can make now that people in one drive through Cemetery Road. And if people driving through that, they're gonna be looking all over for see if anybody, any white, anybody dressed up in white don't run across the road. Hey, wanna jail, talk things will make sense. Talk things will make sense. Don't come here with your stupidness about supernatural power. If we look at what is happening in this country, all the roads, one Edgel / Cummins, wherever, somebody telling me for the name something but Cummins, man, Is we name really, man? Y'all tell me, is we name really? It's not one Edgel, the bishop, one Edgel, the man name? Yes, I'm seeing Madam Hazel Pile there. Good night to you. He and his brothers are fake, but that is why the Bible don't lie, The Bible don't lie. The Bible spoke about false prophets. False prophets. If you're a true prophet, if you're a true bishop, you're going to go out there with your manpower and pray and get rid of those supernatural forces. But I want to feel so. I want to feel so. Bishop Edgel, good night to you, boy. I'm praying for you. And I'm telling you, come down to Congress Place. We gonna give you the thing for work on them. But look, man, hey, y'all think the PPP easy? The PPP ain't easy, Come see the PPP. Them in easy. Caroline, what you saying to me? The name is Cummins. So how we name Edge? How the name turn Edgel? It's who name? Man, look, this seemed to be another story. We gotta get it. Look. All you want in my head, this seemed to be another story we got to talk about. His right name is Cummins, not Edgel. Maybe he get a name. Edgel was probably his mother's maiden name or his grandmother. Me know, man. And they tell me this. Look, we can talk about this story a good night. Another night we can talk about this story. But let's come back to these road projects. Hundreds of billions of dollars are being spent. You see in South Rumveld there is madness. And while the PPP are fixing one road, they're breaking 23. Because all these little streets that were not built to accommodate all this massive traffic and heavy duty traffic, they're now going through these streets. So while they're fixing one road, they're breaking 25 roads. The PPP are visionless. They are visionless. They don't understand what is supposed to be happening. Well, if he's a money bishop, I guess that is why he's frightened to go to Cemetery Road. But he can come right there, right at Cemetery Road, he can come. He run away from where? London? And come back to Guyana? It's my story passing. Hey, look, y'all don't get me into trouble, before these people sue me. I don't know where the man went, whether he went to London or he went to America or wherever he went and he wrote. I don't know the story. I just hearing all kind of things, something but Durban Street and some piece of land there and some boy and some mango tree. Man, look, y'all don't tell me the story now. We can talk the story a little later. But the bishop is a fisher bishop. He's not a bishop. If you're a bishop, you can go and pray out there with the people. That's all I have to say on that. But again, these road projects, let's tell you. You see the piece of hurry up walk that they went and do in the Bolivar there? What the place name? Through from Le Penitence Market, the public road there. coming all the way down there to Cemetery Road where they do the Boulevard. And oh gosh, look at Independence Boulevard. Oh, Independence Boulevard. You know when the road open? You know when the driveway open? The Sunday night before local government elections, the Monday morning. Big walkabout this Sunday night, and if you see story. But you know what? You check all those roads that are running parallel to that Independence Boulevard. You check those roads. You see the residents there? Again, let me say, come see the PPP. They're a bunch of crooks. All the residents who are living in that Albaistown area on the left side, if you're going east, all those residents who are living there, they're going to be encountering severe flooding. Anytime we get big flood in this, big rains in this country, they are going to have severe flooding. Because you know what? The Independence Boulevard, the road there has been built to one level. And if you look at when you're going down there, look at this one here. You got to go down in a slope. Look the street. You think y'all feel like they're telling a story? I don't make up stories like Jaguar, not Jaguar, I'm Coretta McDonald. Look at what is happening. Look the sides of the road. And this thing costs billions of dollars, you know. Look what's going on in these streets. Y'all tell me if the PPP serious, man. Tell me if the PPP really serious. While you're nicing up the boulevard, what happened to all of these side streets? Look, you're coming from the boulevard, you got to come down. You know, people who got cars that are low, the bottom of your car touching there. When you got to leave the boulevard to come down on one of those little streets there. What edge you really doing? I wonder if it's the supernatural powers affecting the vision this side too. It could be, you know. Look all these little streets. Look, you see where they went and dumped stuff? Look where they went and dumped stuff. Huh? Look where they went and dumped stuff. The PPP not easy. They are not easy. And these are the kinds of things they're doing in predominantly Black people area. I wonder where is my good friend Malcolm? Malcolm, where are you? Are you listening to me tonight? You better talk to Jagview and them and tell them fix the roads there properly. And then they come and they put up some nice chair and table thing. Look what happened to them now. Look, the millions what they spend on them. Look what happened to them. And you know why? Because it's inferior work that was done. So our taxpayers' dollars are being spent. So you see, we have Albert Street, we got wherever Street, and so on. Look at potholes, look. Y'all think it's easy? I want Priya Manikchand to go and walk through these areas. That's what one should do. One should come and walk through these areas and see if she's going to understand what is happening there. You notice? Nice high on the boulevard there. And look what is happening lower down. You see what is happening lower down? You have that slope there. So whenever it rains, this is what is going to happen. People's homes are going to be flooded. Their yards are going to be flooded. We making sense? We are making sense. Every time we talk about, Guyana, the fastest growing economy in the world and this, that, all kinds of fancy things we're using. And you know what? We're not seeing benefit. We're not seeing worth for money. All these monies that we have, and we're not seeing anything value for money on these things. Just the other day, they did that boulevard. And the tables with the sit-around chairs and so on, benches that they make there, the top of the table break. Because you know why? Inferior work was done. You throw a little bit of cement and plenty sand. I mean, I'm not a contractor and I know that. If you can put cement, you got to have, I think it's 4 sacks of cement to 5 wheelbarrows of sand or something, or 1 sack of cement to 4 wheelbarrows of sand or 3 wheel, whatever it is. I ain't get the thing right, but I understand the thing. What are we doing to our people in Albaistown? And these are the people who Jagdia went out there and Orphan Ali went out there to tell them that they care about these people. How you could care about people and got people living in streets like those? Huh? These streets were fixed. But you know why these streets break up? Because while you were doing the boulevard there, everybody had to be running through all these little streets, little connecting streets. So the streets were damaged. They were broken up. You're doing boulevard, but all you try right over there. And you know what happened now? This done, that done. Because local government elections finish. So they don't have time with the people in Albaistown. They don't have time with the people who live in at Pontrench and so on. They ain't got time with you anymore. You think they're easy? The PPP not easy. And let me tell you more. All that they promised the people in Lane Avenue and all over and so on, you look for see if you're going to get it. Look to see if you're going to find it. It done. Local government elections gone. And you ain't vote for the people. They ain't got time with you now. But let me tell you what. In another year time, they're going to come again, they will return in another year's time to tell you how much they love you and how much they want to do this and how well they want to see you live and your children to be happy. They're going to come, man. Y'all got to come close and see this table thing that was supposed to be there, this nice table that we were supposed to have. Y'all got to go close and see it. When my friends from Berbice, when you're coming to Georgetown, make sure you drive past there so you could see where the children and where families were supposed to be sitting along the piece in the middle, the avenue in the middle, on the nice makeshift concrete bench and the table and so on. They're done broke up already. They're like Jagdeo and Irfan and my good friend Dharam Lal. These people don't do no survey. They don't do nothing. All they do is throw out the contracts and they put big numbers to it because the kickback is what is important. That is what is important. So the rich will continue to get richer and the poor will continue to get poorer. And while that is happening, poverty will be poverty is already on the increase because we heard that from the World Bank. Poverty is on the increase. Teenage pregnancy is on the increase. Crime is on the increase. Lawlessness is on the increase. Cost of living, well, don't talk about the done gone high. The only thing is salaries and the good life, it's at a standstill. And it's decreasing too, because with the cost of living, your salary can't buy the things that you need. And other things that you want, the things that you need with cost of living, your salaries can't buy it. And imagine we are living in the Dubai of the Caribbean. That's where we live. You see how many big skyscraper buildings going up? I don't know who going in them buildings because them buildings are building for me and you, not for me and you. Check some of the hotels that we have. Some of you could go to some of those hotels and eat. You could carry your family there for dinner. No, you can't carry them there. You check the prices. Check the prices. That's some of we whole month's salary. And if you got rent to pay and you got GPL bill to pay and GWI bill to pay, well, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. Lawless government. But while we're on that, I'm going to ask the operator to play a nice little song for us before we go to the next part, because I notice our time is catching up with us. But we can play a nice little song for you. A nice little song we can play for you. We have to play this song. It's a part of it has now become part of our family.
I say no make them take advantage of you. Nah, 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 yeah. Young girl wanna school, yeah. No follow nobody. Cause that man where you call you sexy could be twice your daddy. I know time of like Coretta. Plus them mama don't have it. Please me I beg you no make them come mess up your body. And you dirty man, leave the people picnic them alone. You dirty man, you know it's wrong. So leave the people picnic them alone. It's a disgrace, man. Ooh, you're just a waste, man.
Yes. So we have to play that song. Dirty man. Leave the people picnic them alone, you dirty man. Well, this one man, he got a couple of names on the birth certificate. Plus, he got a new birth certificate now, which gives him some additional names. The dildo boy, the pull gun Dan, the alleged rapist and sodomist. Yes, that's the boy who attended President's College, Nigel Dharamlal, former minister of local government and something else. But that boy is a dirty man. And you know what? Watch the boy face there. Watch the boy face. Since you see that face, you know it's trouble. Since you see that face, you know it's trouble. But you know what? I am wondering. I am wondering why Anil, Sonia, Priya, Charles, Sanjeev, Onij, and a couple more, why they didn't come to Dharamlal's rescue in terms of representing them. All these bright boys and girls, why they did not come forward to represent this guy who, according to the vice president, is an asset to the PPP party? Why? I didn't understand this thing. Imagine all these bright attorneys who could count. Them being going to represent the partner who's an asset to the party. They went to a man who, same Nigel Dharamlal said, can't count. Well, something in making sense here. Something in making sense. But if y'all find out, tell me the story. Operator, let me show this boy face. The nation must continue to see this boy's face. We must continue to see this boy face. And this is saying to me that this here is clear for every single one of us to see. That the names of those attorneys who I call there, those are some of the prominent ones, that they are fully well aware. They are fully well aware of their colleague and their colleagues' dealings. They're fully well aware. But you know what? They don't want to be soiled with him. They don't want to be soiled with him. So they stay back. They say not a word, not a... Imagine Sanjeev that didn't say a word on this issue. Sanjeev. Imagine my girl Priya, who always front and center and say a word on this issue. And Priya was the person who piloted the bill. Priya was the person who piloted that bill. Priya ain't even come out and say, well, if my colleague is guilty, we expect that the full course of the law, you face the full blunt of the law. Priya come out and say nothing like that. Or Priya come out and say some stupidness, especially they say nothing. She like the little girl who do the video, but I can talk about she. I ain't got the time yet to talk about her, but we can talk about her. But they all are fully aware of what was happening. But let me say to you, come see the PPP. They have failed the nation yet again. Yet again, they have failed the nation. They have failed our girls and our boys. They have failed them again. They have manipulated all the systems to get the outcome they wanted. The PPP, y'all think they're easy? They stink. They're dirty. They're evil. They are racist. They are corrupt. And they are crooks. The police force, starting from the commander in Essequibo, the police force, man, if it were another time, quite a lot of them would have been home by now and even facing the magistrate's court. Imagine the commander himself saying that he got statement. Now, how you taking a recanting statement when you had no official statement, no official report being made? I'm still waiting to see the occurrence book where the report was made. And this man still walking free and on, still got on the brown clothes. You see why you can't trust the police force? Because they corrupt. They're just as corrupt as the PPP. They take their instructions from the PPP. So you don't expect anything good coming out of them. Nothing good. Well, don't talk about is child protection or child rejection or child, I don't even know what to call them. These are the people who had this young lady in custody, that this young lady could not even speak with her attorneys. These are the people who took away the child's phone. And then they took away the phones from the other children when they recognized that she was using phones from the other children to make contact with persons on the outside. They took away the phones. Child protection. I know who they protected. Well, they weren't protecting the children. They weren't protecting the girl. At least I know that. They're probably protecting Nigel Dharamlal. But this whole story, and now you want to throw blame on everybody else. Nobody was there when the girl went to the house. The opposition wasn't there when she went to the house with her brother. So why are you blaming the opposition? Huh? Kiteshore News wasn't there. You're right, by the tear out the book page. That's why we can't find it. The tear out the book page. Man, look, the Guyana police force gone to the dogs now. Mind you, we have some very honorable men in the Guyana police force, some very, very honorable men and women in the Guyana police force. And if you check it, you're going to see those are some of the people who they have cast in a corner. Just the other day, we lost one of our most brilliant minds from the Guyana police force. You know, Mr. Cooper. And you know what caused that? Because they moved him from where he was in Region 5 and they brought him down to Georgetown to go and guard dogs. When they can't manipulate you and can't get you to do what they want you to do, they do all kinds of foolishness to you. So many other senior ranks who are standing to the oath that they would have taken. They've been pushed in a corner. And what we're seeing are the crooks, the crooked ones we're seeing who are there to carry out the mandate of the people of the PPP. The PPP and easy. Again, let me say to you, viewers, we got a group of people who are rascals. And unless we decide to call a spade, they will continue to do the things that they are doing. They will continue to do what they are doing. Imagine we got a pedophile walking free. Somebody tell me the other day that Dharamlal still occupying that residence there in Campbellville. I can pass there myself and stake out the place to see if Dharamlal going in or coming out. I can pass there. No, he can't pull me in. No, man. The man he want people, the man he want girls like me. The man want them when they're young and nice. He want girls like me. But I can pass there myself because if you're no longer a minister, then you should not be enjoying the privileges of a minister because it's my taxpayers' dollars you're spending. So Dharamlal should not be using the prime minister, the ministerial vehicle anymore. I got some complaints that the policemen who were there saying, imagine we got to stand up and guard a rapist or an alleged rapist. Let me fix my mouth before next thing you know, Dharamlal come and send me something. But the story is, you have resigned as a minister. And if you resign as a minister, then catch your tail to Cummins Lodge where you got your apartment buildings. Go there and take up one of those apartments. Get out of the minister's house that you're occupying there in Campbellville, wherever the place named something there. But I know where the place is. You can't continue to enjoy the good life. Well, we can talk about the little girl next week because I don't want to get into my brother Sherrod's time. And we're getting close to that. But we can talk about sweet girl next week. We can talk about the girl who come on Facebook and you see the fancy watch and chain and so. We can talk about she because I'm proud of her, you know. I'm proud of her. Let me tell you that. I am really, really proud of this girl. But a couple of things she do, I got to talk about it. But folks, the PPP are not easy. The PPP are not easy. They're not easy. They're corrupt. They're crooked. And you look at every institution in this country, they're trying to corrupt and make them crooked. You check it. Every institution in this country, I ain't finished with the president. The president now bypassing unions and say that he going to talk to teachers in groups. Make us and go and talk to them. Hurry up. Imagine you stood in parliament, I can bring that clip next week, stood in parliament to remind the coalition government about talking with the unions and collective bargaining. And now you're talking about you're going to meet teachers. Just now you're going to go and meet nurses individually and in groups to tell them what? The lies that you've been telling us all the time. You got a comprehensive package for teachers. Wait there. Must be in your mouth. Where is that package? Only you alone know about that comprehensive package. You got a comprehensive package, but yet you're now going to talk interface with teachers in groups to find out what they want. So what are in the package? The package empty. Empty you. But folks, it has been a good night. And I think the highlight of our night tonight was the fact that we got these supernatural forces. And I think it's the supernatural forces blocking Ephraim's vision right now. Our friend, you need to come down to Congress Place. Come here. We are going to sanitize you when you come here. We are going to give you a good baptism when you come here. So when you step out there, you will be a changed man because we're going to dock you in the water and bring you back up. You're going to be a changed man, our friend. Because, I think the boy got good intentions, but it's the people who the boy got around, he like Priya and them who just tell you a bundle of stupidness. Priya and Charles Ramsden and them who just tell you a bundle of stupidness. You look around when Charles going around the place. You look and see who Charles has have around him when he going around the place. Compare that now with the PNC, when the PNC were in government prior to 1992, and look at when the coalition were in government from 2015 to 2020, and you'll see the people who they have with them. Again, let me say to you, I don't get stupid and think the Guyanese people stupid. Guyanese people not stupid. Guyanese people not stupid. We remember the days, the 23 years of the PPP. We ain't stupid. We remember Dirty Man. We remember strip and slap. We remember the allegations of rape. Y'all remember when Henry Green had to go on leave? Allegations of rape. We remember the law books story. We remember Varshni Singh's story. We remember the death squads. Y'all think we crazy? We remember the jailbreak. We remember when the 5 escapees were living not too far from Ronald Gajraj, who was the Minister of Home Affairs at this time. We don't forget those things. We remember them. We remember the execution-style murders. We remember them. We remember the death squad when they used to barge into Buxton. You remember this boy is Shaka Blair, his name? Shaka Blair from Buxton. Y'all remember the 2 brothers from Princess Street? Is what a name again? I can't even remember the 2 brothers, the 2 prominent brothers from Princess Street. Huh? Y'all remember Kazurki? We remember those stories. So if the PPP think we forget them, we forget them. We remember all them drug busts. We remember those stories. We remember all the corruption and the discrimination. We remember the high cost of living, which is a thing again, a feature again facing us. The Bacchus brothers, thank you, Raj Singh, the Bacchus brothers from Princess Street. Y'all think we forget? We forget it. So the PPP, they have not changed. Folks, come see the PPP for who they are. They have not changed. They come back now with more vengeance because you know what? We got oil money now. So they come back with more vengeance. You remember Ronald Waddle? Y'all remember Ronald Waddle? Well, me good friend Sean Hines, he barely miss it. He barely miss it. But we ain't forgetting them days. We remember the days of Fraser. Well, we ain't even know it's how Fraser dead. There's just somebody shoot Fraser, but we ain't even know it's who and who party. Because they say you get shot in some sandy area when they bring Fraser. They ain't got no sand, nothing on the face, nothing, no sand. Well, yes, viewers, we remember the funeral service, the parlor, the funeral parlor. We remember Johann C. Douglas. So if the PPP think we forgetting these stories, we ain't forgetting these stories. And folks, let me tell you what. They're going to come like wolves in sheep clothing again to you next year. They can come. They can throw more monies at you. Let me tell you one thing. Collect the money because it's yours. Collect it. And you know what you have to do. But in between time, get yourselves registered. Encourage others to get registered. You see all them. You remember at one time, Georgetown was named the garbage city. We've gone back to those days. So the PPP not easy. Again, they are corrupt. They are very, very discriminatory. They are a racist bunch. They are everything that is negative. The PPP. They don't like you. They don't like your children. Every year we remember Johann C. Douglas, a young man who could not even live to his full potential because he was shot in a car. Because he was 4 black young men in a car, they were shot at by the police. We remember those things. And so, folks, I want to thank you always for being there on Advancing the Cause. Let me say to you, pray for the bishop. Pray for Indar. Pray and ask that the supernatural forces that are there between Cemetery Road there, that they're not going to scare them, that they are going to be asked that they get the courage to go to Cemetery Road. And if they don't know how to go there, tell them pass by Congress Place. We will give them the things to walk with. On that note, we want to say good night to all of you, including Dirty Man. Yes, including Dirty Man. And of course, we got to go out with that song. But let me say to you too, we recognize that there is an upsurge and an outbreak in this country that the Minister of Health, he's always saying, he is not telling anyone about. He's not saying anything to this nation. But we recognize that many of our folks are coming down with dengue, typhoid, this other flu, whatever it is, I don't know. But you know what? Let me say to you, you might be safe wearing your mask again. Because with all the nonsense that is happening, you don't know what is happening. And you can't even, sometimes you can't even depend on the hospitals. We got our public hospitals, and rather than this government looking to enhance our public hospitals, they're going and embracing our kind of private hospitals, billing all over the place. I mean, we don't mind. We must have competition, but when you throw back on your, sometimes you go to some of the public hospitals, all they give you is Panadol. All they give you for every ailment you get is Panadol. Look, people, the PPP are no good for Guyana. They're no good for this country. And for Guyana to grow, the PPP must go. Dirty Man, you ready for me? Have a good night. I'll see you again next week at the same time. But in the meantime, enjoy.
Nobody, 'cause that man where I call him sexy could be twice your daddy. My no time of like Coretta, plus your mama don't have it. Please me, I beg you, no make them come mess up your body. And you dirty man, leave the people picnic them alone. You dirty man, you know it's wrong. So leave the people picnic them alone. It's a disgrace, man. Ooh, you're just a waste man. A waste man.
Just a waste man. Oh, yeah.
You're a waste man. You're a dirty man. And so stay in your corner. Leave the people, your children alone. Leave the, and it's not the girls, we have to be careful, our boys too. So leave our children alone, allow them to grow. Don't force anything on them. Don't tell them they're sexy when they're at 14 and 15. Don't go stalking them at these pageants and so on. Leave the people picking them alone. God bless you. Have a good night.
I'm such a fool